Here are the top 5 things that can make buyers not interested in a property for sale. So the first thing is the price is too high. Now, as a seller, you always want to price your property accordingly to what the market's showing you. But if you price your property too high, what's happening is you're not allowing the buyers to really take your property seriously when it comes to the, comparing it to other homes. And you're not really giving yourself a chance to sell for the highest amount that you possibly could. Because you're not getting enough action on your home and people visiting your property. So pricing your property a little bit higher can be fine because you're leaving a little bit of room for negotiating and buyers can see that. But when you're pricing your property hundreds of thousands of dollars more than what it's actually worth, that's where you're actually preventing people from thinking that you're being realistic, and it can make you stay on the market for a lot longer than what you've anticipated. So I know you might think that your property is, has all the bells and whistles and it deserves to sell for a lot more than the last one, but unless you can prove that to the public, and again, buyers are the ones that dictate the market value for your property, but unless you can prove that to the market, that is not a good recipe to be able to sell for the most amount of money, because again, you're not allowing traffic to come into your home. Really, what's happening is you're allowing buyers to use your home as an example of what overpriced looks like, and they'll actually use your property for a comparison to really feel justified of other homes that are actually priced at market value, meaning they'll just walk through your home to be able to nitpick certain things and show why the other homes that they like are actually good and better value and why they should pursue those ones versus yours. Another reason is that the size does not work for the family or the individuals. So a size of a home is actually very important. If a property is too big, sometimes you'll realize that if the price is right, people may actually still commit to that property because, it's good value and whatever reason they can transform it into a property that can give them a high profit, whatever it is. But when a property is too small, unless you can add on to the property, meaning you get a permit for adding square footage to a home, there's really nothing you can do. And that's the size that people have to deal with moving forward, again, unless they get permits to be able to build a larger home on that lot. But a home being too small can really affect the interest of buyers, and that can go a long way when it comes to expecting a certain price from buyers, even though, let's say you have a 4-bedroom home, but your 4-bedroom home is smaller than other 4-bedroom homes. It's fair to say that you should sell for less, or at least the cheapest amount of what the 4-bedroom homes go for, aside from, counting in the finishes and things like that, which can increase the value. But just to make it simple, you can't compare a 4-bedroom home with other 4-bedroom homes if the size is not adequate when you're comparing it. So size is very important to people, but also lot size as well. You want to keep that in mind. So a property lot can also be important for parking vehicles and just overall privacy for backyard and things like that. But that's pretty important for people as well. People don't want to just have square footage in a home. Some people value a lot size. So you really want to compare that as well when you're compared to other properties when you price your property a certain way. Another reason why buyers may not like your home is that the neighborhood is just not a fit. So sometimes the neighborhood can just not be a good fit for that family or those individuals because the certain type of people who live there just don't match what that person or that family is looking for. Let's say it's a young family, they're looking for parks and things like that. If it's an area that's mature and they don't have a lot of these parks, you'll find that the family just doesn't prefer that area and they'd rather go to a more younger area where you'll have schools, friends for the kids, parks, trails, things like that that allow that family to feel like it's surrounded by people who are similar to them. So that's a big thing too, but also neighborhoods not having key things around like subways, highways, things like that. That's very important for people as well. If that neighborhood does not match what the buyers are looking for reasons of that nature, you'll find that it doesn't matter how nice your home is, you really have to appeal to people with those type of preferences and obviously price your property accordingly. You also don't want to be too close to any trains or things like that that can really add a stigma to the property. Also cemeteries, things like that. Those aren't the greatest things to be living around, but a cemetery, in all seriousness, it does add a little bit of an eerie feel for people, especially families. So things like that, when cemeteries and stuff are all around, it can really make a family just want to look elsewhere. But also things like, again, trains passing, overall noise, let's say a highway, like a house backs onto a highway, like things like that. Noise is pretty important to people. And, even if you're on a main road, for example, if you're on a main road and there's a lot of traffic, that alone might allow people to value the property less. So you want to look at these things, but those are some key things to really consider when you're pricing a property. You got to be appealing to what your property has, and really be able to price your property accordingly, and not feel like just because your house is a certain size or, you know, in a general area, that it should sell for what everything else goes for. If your property is on a main road, you should price it accordingly and have expectations accordingly as well. So that's it, guys. Those are the key things to keep in mind whenever you're selling a property. Don't overvalue your home. If there's things that don't make a buyer want to pay the top market value, you really got to be realistic and understand that a buyer is what dictates the value of your home, not the seller. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you watch, please subscribe. I plan on doing a lot more of these videos, and I want to listen to you guys, to what you guys want to hear or see from somebody in my industry. Thanks again, and until next time.